stop explaining yourself. Every time you feel the need to justify your choices, your actions, or your beliefs, you are giving away your power. You are allowing your energy to leak, leaving you tired, drained, and scattered. True strength is not found in explanations. It is found in clarity, confidence, and presence. When you constantly try to make others understand you, you place their approval above your own peace. And in that moment, your energy disperses into the world instead of anchoring within you. Understand this, your energy is sacred. Every thought, every word, every interaction is a reflection of it. When you over-explain, you send a signal that you are unsure, that your worth needs validation. But the truth is, your presence alone carries the message. When you embody your truth fully, without words, the world responds naturally. You do not have to convince anyone. The people and opportunities aligned with your life will recognize your energy without explanation. Stop giving your power away to reactions, judgments, or misunderstandings. Your energy should flow to creation, to growth, to joy, not to defending yourself. Imagine your energy as water. When it leaks through unnecessary explanations, it weakens your foundation. But when you keep it concentrated within, it nourishes your mind, body, and spirit. You become magnetic, unshakable, and fully alive. Let go of the fear of being misunderstood. Let go of the urge to rationalize who you are. Every second spent explaining is a second taken away from creating, from dreaming, from living fully. Trust that your actions, your presence, and your love are enough. Speak when it matters, act when it matters, but never feel compelled to justify your worth. Your energy is powerful, but only if it remains yours. Protect it fiercely, focus it intentionally, invest it wisely. People will sense it, respect it, and respond to it, not because of your words, but because of your unwavering alignment with your own truth. The moment you stop explaining yourself, life begins to honor your energy. Doors open, relationships transform, opportunities flow, and a deep sense of peace fills your being. You stop chasing validation, and the universe starts showing up for you. You become the calm in the chaos, the confident presence in a world hungry for authenticity. Remember, energy speaks louder than words. It communicates what your mind cannot, what your words cannot, and what your heart deeply knows. Guard it, respect it, let it shine. You do not owe anyone an explanation for the life you are creating, the choices you are making, or the person you are becoming. Stand in your energy fully and unapologetically. The world will notice, life will align, and you will discover a freedom that no explanation could ever provide. Detachment is often misunderstood as indifference or surrendering to defeat, but in truth, detachment is one of the deepest expressions of trust you can practice. It is not walking away from your desires or pretending you do not care. It is releasing the inner tension that says life must unfold in only one specific way for you to be safe, happy, or worthy. Detachment is the quiet confidence that life is intelligent, responsive, and capable of meeting you without force. When you are attached, fear usually sits beneath the surface. Fear of losing, fear of being disappointed, fear of not being enough if things do not work out as planned. This fear tightens the body and clouds the mind. You may notice yourself overthinking, checking for signs, replaying conversations, or mentally trying to control outcomes. None of this is wrong. It is simply a sign that trust has been replaced by anxiety. Detachment gently restores balance by saying, I can want this and still be okay without gripping it. Trusting life means believing that you are supported even when you cannot see how. It means understanding that delays are not denials and redirections are not punishments. Detachment allows you to step out of the belief that you must manage every detail for things to work. Instead of forcing doors open, you allow the right ones to open naturally. This shift alone changes your entire emotional state. The body relaxes, the breath deepens, the mind softens. From this relaxed state, clarity begins to rise. When you trust life, you stop measuring your worth by results. You no longer decide your value based on whether something arrives today or next month, whether someone chooses you or walks away, whether a plan succeeds immediately or takes time. Detachment frees you from tying your self-worth to outcomes. You begin to feel whole now, instead of postponing peace until conditions improve. Life responds quickly to this wholeness because it is no longer meeting resistance within you. Detachment also teaches patience without passivity. You continue to take inspired action, but without urgency or desperation. You listen more closely to intuition rather than fear. Actions taken from trust feel lighter, simpler, and more aligned. You may notice that you stop pushing and start allowing. You stop proving and start receiving. The effort you once poured into control transforms into openness. One of the most powerful aspects of detachment is how it shifts your inner dialogue. Instead of asking, "What if this doesn't work?" you begin to say, "I trust that whatever unfolds is guiding me." This change in thought pattern sends a new message to the subconscious mind: safety. And when the subconscious feels safe, it releases old habits of struggle and self-sabotage. Trust becomes the foundation on which new experiences can form. As detachment deepens, emotional resilience grows. You learn that you can experience uncertainty without collapsing into fear. You can desire deeply without clinging. You can care without losing yourself. This emotional steadiness allows you to move through life with grace rather than resistance. Situations that once triggered anxiety now pass more gently through you. You respond instead of react. Trusting life also means allowing timing to be mysterious. Not everything unfolds according to the mind's schedule. Detachment helps you release the belief that late means wrong. Often what arrives later arrives stronger, clearer, and more aligned than what you originally asked for. When you stop rushing life, life stops rushing past you. In detachment, there is freedom. Freedom from constant mental effort. Freedom from needing reassurance. Freedom from the fear that everything depends on you getting it right. You begin to sense that life is moving with you, not against you. This feeling creates inner peace, and inner peace is magnetic. Detachment does not take anything away from you. It gives you back yourself. It restores your trust, your calm, and your connection to the natural flow of life. And from this place of trust, life responds, not because you demanded it to, but because you finally allowed it to. Control often feels like protection. It gives the mind the illusion that if you manage every detail, anticipate every outcome, and push hard enough, nothing can go wrong. Yet beneath this constant effort is tension. The body tightens, the breath becomes shallow, and the mind stays alert for problems that may never appear. This state of control may look productive on the surface, but inwardly it creates resistance. Life does not move easily through a clenched hand. Force comes from fear. It is the fear of losing, the fear of falling behind, the fear that if you stop pushing, everything will collapse. When fear drives action, the nervous system remains activated. In this state, you are not aligned with clarity or intuition, you are reacting. You may notice that the harder you push for a result, the more obstacles appear, the more exhausted you feel, and the less satisfying the outcome becomes. This is not failure, it is feedback. Resistance is not something life places in your path, it is something created within you. It shows up as impatience, frustration, and the belief that things should already be different. Control tries to bend life to your will instead of cooperating with it, and life, by its nature, resists being forced. Like water, it flows best when guided gently, not when blocked or pressured. Relaxation is often mistaken for doing nothing, but true relaxation is an active inner state. It is the choice to release unnecessary tension while remaining present and aware. When you relax, you tell your body that it is safe. Safety opens the door to creativity, insight, and timing. From relaxation, ideas arrive naturally. Solutions appear without strain. Opportunities feel less like battles and more like invitations. Flow begins when you stop arguing with the present moment. Control says, this shouldn't be happening. Relaxation says, this is happening, and I can meet it calmly. This Shift alone transforms your experience. You may still take action, but it comes from clarity rather than panic. Actions taken from flow feel precise and efficient, not rushed or scattered. When you relax, you also release the need to predict every outcome. Control tries to eliminate uncertainty, but life cannot be lived without it. Relaxation teaches you to be comfortable in the unknown. This comfort creates space for life to surprise you. Many breakthroughs arrive not when you are pushing hardest, but when you finally let go of needing to know how everything will work out. Flow is intelligence in motion. It connects you to natural timing. When you are relaxed, you sense when to move and when to wait. You stop forcing doors that are not ready to open and begin noticing the ones already ajar. This saves energy and preserves emotional balance. Instead of burnout, you experience steadiness. The body is a powerful guide in this process. When you are forcing, the body signals discomfort, tight shoulders, clenched jaw, shallow breathing. When you are in flow, the body softens, breathing becomes deeper, movements feel easier. Paying attention to these signals helps you recognize when control has taken over and gently return to relaxation. Relaxation also changes how others respond to you. Force can feel demanding even when unspoken. Relaxation feels open and grounded. People sense this difference. Conversations become smoother. Resistance from others decreases. Cooperation increases. This is not manipulation, it is resonance. As you practice letting go of control, trust begins to grow. You realize that not everything requires your effort. Some things unfold on their own and given space. You begin to understand that ease is not laziness. It is alignment. And alignment allows life to move through you instead of pushing against you. Control narrows perception. Relaxation expands it. From this expanded state, you see options you could not see before. You hear intuition more clearly. You respond instead of react. Flow becomes your natural state, not something you have to chase. When you release force, you do not lose momentum. You gain direction. Life meets you where there is openness, not tension. And in that openness, movement becomes effortless, progress becomes natural, and flow replaces struggle. Life has a sensitive way of responding to the emotional tone beneath our actions. It does not move according to the volume of our effort, but according to the quality of our inner state. Calm certainty carries a quiet authority. Desperation, no matter how active or determined it appears, carries fear. And life responds very differently to each. Calm certainty is rooted in trust. It is the inner knowing that you are supported, even when outcomes are not yet visible. From this place, you move through life without urgency. You still desire, you still intend, and you still act. But there is no panic driving your steps. Your energy is steady. Your mind is clear. This steadiness sends a powerful message. I expect things to work out. Life tends to mirror this expectation. Desperation, on the other hand, is filled with urgency and pressure. It says this must happen now or something is wrong. This state often arises when you believe your happiness, safety, or worth depends on a specific outcome. The body feels tense, the thoughts race. Why find yourself constantly checking, chasing, explaining, or overextending? Even when effort is genuine, desperation carries resistance within it, and resistance slows everything down. Calm certainty does not shout. It does not beg for reassurance. It rests in the assumption that what is meant for you is already moving in your direction. This inner posture allows you to respond to situations instead of reacting to them. You make decisions from clarity rather than fear. You say no when needed. You wait without anxiety. This composure creates space for life to meet you with equal clarity. When you operate from calm certainty, timing aligns more easily. You notice opportunities without hunting for them. Conversations flow without force. People feel at ease around you because your energy is not demanding anything from them. This ease creates cooperation. Doors open, not because you pushed harder, but because you were ready to receive. Desperation narrows perception. It makes you focus on what is missing instead of what is available. It keeps you stuck in the future, worrying about what might not happen, or stuck in the past, replaying what already went wrong. Calm certainty brings you back to the present moment, and life can only respond to you in the present. There is a deep intelligence in calm certainty. It understands that struggle is not a requirement for progress. It recognizes that effort does not have to be painful to be effective. When you are calm, your intuition becomes more accessible. You sense when to act and when to pause. You conserve energy instead of scattering it through worry and overthinking. Desperation often comes from self-doubt. It whispers that you are not enough unless something external proves otherwise. Calm certainty dissolves this doubt by anchoring your sense of worth within yourself. When you no longer seek validation from outcomes, you become emotionally independent. This independence is powerful. It changes how life responds to you because you are no longer negotiating your value. You may notice that when you stop trying to convince life, it starts cooperating. Problems resolve themselves. Support appears unexpectedly. What once felt heavy begins to move with less effort. This is not coincidence, it is alignment. Life responds to the confidence of someone who trusts the process rather than fighting it. Calm certainty also allows you to remain open when plans change. Instead of collapsing into disappointment, you adapt. You remain grounded. This flexibility keeps momentum moving. Desperation resists change, while calm certainty flows with it, often leading you somewhere better than you originally imagined. Choosing calm certainty is a practice. It begins with awareness. Notice when urgency takes over. Notice when fear drives your actions. Then gently return to steadiness. Breathe. Remind yourself that you are not late, broken, or behind. You are exactly where you need to be for the next step to reveal itself. Life does not require you to strain to be worthy of its support. It responds to the quiet confidence that says, I trust the unfolding. From that place, things move naturally. Opportunities align, and outcomes arrive with far less resistance. Calm certainty becomes your signal to life, and life answers in kind. Letting go is one of the most profound steps you can take on the journey to inner freedom. When we hold tightly to outcomes, past mistakes, or the belief that we are not enough, we create a sense of lack within ourselves. This sense of lack is not an external condition, it is a state of mind. It whispers that something is missing, that we need more success, more recognition, more validation before we can feel complete. Holding on in this way keeps energy trapped in tension, worry, and expectation. Letting go, on the other hand, shifts you into a state of wholeness, where completeness is recognized as inherent, not conditional. Holding on often comes from fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of loss, and fear that life will not provide if you release control. These fears anchor you in scarcity. They convince you that you must fight, push, and protect in order to survive. The mind can easily get lost in this cycle, replaying past disappointments or projecting future anxieties. The body mirrors this tension. You may notice tight shoulders, a racing heart, shallow breathing, or a constant sense of urgency. This tension blocks flow and reinforces the perception that you are somehow lacking. Letting go is an act of courage and trust. It does not mean abandoning your desires or ignoring your responsibilities. It means releasing the need to control every outcome, the need to justify yourself, and the belief that your value depends on external circumstances. It is the willingness to surrender the illusion that holding on will make you safe, and to embrace the reality that safety, peace, and fulfillment are already present within you. When you let go, the grip of fear loosens and a new awareness emerges. You are already enough. As you release attachment, your perception begins to shift. You stop defining yourself by what is absent and start noticing what is already complete. The mind stops arguing with reality, and you stop measuring worth through comparison, achievement, or approval. A subtle but powerful sense of contentment arises. You feel more grounded, more present, and more connected to life as it is. This is the essence of wholeness, recognizing that completeness exists independent of external conditions. Letting go also transforms energy. When you cling, you are using mental and emotional power to resist what is. This resistance creates tension, blocks creativity, and slows the natural unfolding of life. When you release, energy flows freely. Thoughts become clearer, decisions come with ease, and synchronicities begin to appear. You notice opportunities that were previously invisible because your attention was consumed with grasping and worrying. Letting go clears space for abundance to enter. The practice of letting go extends to emotions as well. It means observing fear, frustration, or disappointment without identifying with it. You acknowledge feelings without allowing them to dominate your state of being. This emotional freedom is part of the shift from lack to wholeness. When you no longer rely on external circumstances to dictate your inner peace, you experience life from a place of fullness rather than deficiency. Wholeness is an inside job, a conscious recognition that you are complete here and now. Letting go also changes how you relate to others. When you release expectations of people, outcomes, or situations, relationships shift naturally. You interact from authenticity rather than neediness, from generosity rather than demand. This fosters deeper connection, mutual respect, and natural harmony. Clinging creates tension. Letting go creates openness. People respond to the energy of wholeness, not scarcity. There is a subtle spiritual dimension to letting go as well. It allows you to participate in life with flow instead of resistance. Life, in its intelligence, moves toward balance and ease. When you stop grasping and forcing, you align with this natural movement. Doors that seem closed open effortlessly. Solutions emerge without struggle. Moments of joy and inspiration appear spontaneously. The shift from lack to wholeness is not something you fabricate. It is something you recognize when you stop resisting. Letting go is a continual practice. Awareness, patience, and gentleness with yourself are essential. Each time you notice the mind clinging to worry or fear, you can consciously release and return to presence. With repetition, the state of wholeness becomes more natural, and the sense of lack loses its grip. You begin to realize that life does not need to be forced, and fulfillment does not need to be earned. It is your birthright. Ultimately, letting go transforms your inner world, which in turn transforms your outer world. The shift from lack to wholeness is not about acquiring more. It is about recognizing what has always been present. It is the realization that you are complete, that life supports you, and that abundance flows effortlessly when you stop resisting. In letting go, you step fully into a life of peace, clarity, and fullness. A relaxed nervous system is one of the most powerful tools you have for creating alignment in your life. So often we underestimate the subtle ways tension, anxiety, and stress influence the way we perceive reality and shape our experiences. When the nervous system is tight or overactive, it signals to the mind and body that danger is present, even if no immediate threat exists. This state of alertness can make you reactive, impatient, and resistant to the natural flow of life. Decisions feel heavier, actions feel forced, and outcomes appear slower or more difficult than they truly are. A relaxed nervous system, on the other hand, fosters clarity, intuition, and openness, accelerating alignment with what you truly desire. Tension in the body is more than just physical discomfort. It is an energy signal. Shoulders become tight, the chest constricts, the stomach knots, and the mind races. These physical manifestations correspond to mental patterns of worry, overthinking, and fear. When this tension persists, it creates resistance to the natural timing of life. Opportunities may appear blocked, communication may feel strained, and even small challenges feel magnified. This resistance is not external. It is an internal state projecting itself outward. The more tightly you hold on, the more life seems delayed or uncooperative. Relaxation, however, shifts everything. A calm nervous system tells the mind and body that it is safe to operate in a state of ease. the heart beats steadily, the breath flows naturally, and the mind slows, just enough to perceive solutions that were invisible in tension. This state is not passive, it is an active alignment with reality. When you release the fight or flight response, energy that was previously locked in resistance becomes available for creativity, focus, and inspired action. Decisions become clearer because they are informed by intuition rather than panic. Actions feel precise because they are guided by awareness instead of urgency. A relaxed nervous system also accelerates the manifestation of intentions. When you hold tight to a desired outcome, the nervous system interprets this clinging as stress, which paradoxically creates more obstacles. It's as if the universe senses resistance and mirrors it back. In contrast, when you release tension and operate from a calm center, you send a signal that says, "I am ready to receive and I trust the process." This subtle shift in energy opens the door for life to align with your intentions naturally. The timing becomes smoother, interactions become more fluid, and opportunities often arrive in ways you could not have planned or predicted. The benefits of a relaxed nervous system extend to relationships as well. When you are tense, others may perceive your anxiety, frustration, or urgency, even if it is unspoken. This tension can provoke defensiveness, misunderstandings, or delays in cooperation. In contrast, a calm presence communicates safety, clarity, and receptivity. People respond to this energy, often meeting you with ease, patience, and openness. Your relaxed state becomes a catalyst for harmony, creating conditions where collaboration, support, and mutual understanding thrive. Relaxation is also essential for emotional resilience. Life inevitably presents challenges, but a calm nervous system allows you to navigate them without overreaction. When the body is relaxed, the mind can respond instead of react. You can assess situations clearly, make decisions with confidence, and act with precision rather than impulsivity. Stress no longer dictates the pace or direction of your life. In this way, relaxation becomes a bridge between the inner world and external alignment. Breathing techniques, mindful pauses, and gentle movement are practical ways to cultivate this relaxed state. Each deep breath tells the nervous system that it is safe to let go of tension. Each mindful pause allows the mind to reset from constant worry or overanalysis. Movement, whether stretching, walking, or gentle exercise, releases stored energy and reinforces the sense of ease. Over time, these practices create a nervous system that is naturally receptive, aligned, and able to flow with life rather than against it. A relaxed nervous system also enhances perception and insight. When tension is present, the mind is clouded with what-ifs and reactive thinking. Calm allows for reflection, discernment, and recognition of opportunities. You become more attuned to subtle signals from intuition, from others, and from the environment. Life's patterns, which may have seemed confusing or blocked, now appear as guidance, creating a sense of synchronicity and natural alignment. Ultimately, the state of your nervous system governs how easily your desires, intentions, and actions align with reality. By cultivating relaxation, you remove the internal blocks that slow life's response. You operate from a place of clarity, trust, and openness, allowing circumstances, people, and timing to converge in harmony. Alignment is no longer forced or strained, it flows naturally, accelerated by the calm energy that radiates from a relaxed nervous system. In this way, ease is not just a feeling, it becomes the very mechanism through which life responds to your presence. Overthinking is one of the most subtle yet powerful obstacles to progress and clarity. It masquerades as careful planning or deep reflection, but in reality, it often keeps you stuck in loops of worry, doubt, and imagined scenarios. When the mind spins endlessly over what could go wrong, what others might think, or what you should have done differently, it creates a fog that obscures practical solutions. Energy that could be used for action, insight, or connection is instead trapped in hesitation, anxiety, and second-guessing. Overthinking delays outcomes because it focuses attention on problems rather than possibilities, on obstacles rather than openings. The mind, when caught in overthinking, operates from a state of tension and anticipation. It jumps from the past to the future, replaying mistakes or projecting fears, rarely resting in the present moment. This restless attention keeps the body and emotions in a heightened state of alert, triggering stress responses that further cloud judgment. Decisions feel heavier, conversations become strained, and even simple actions can feel overwhelming. The very act of thinking excessively about outcomes can inadvertently create resistance in life, slowing the natural unfolding of events. Overthinking often stems from a desire to control uncertainty. We hope that by considering every angle, anticipating every challenge, and rehearsing every scenario, we can prevent disappointment or failure. Yet this mental effort rarely produces clarity. Instead, it fosters confusion, indecision, and frustration. Opportunities may appear delayed, solutions may seem hidden, and what could have been simple becomes complicated. The more we attempt to manage life through endless thought, the more life seems to resist our control. Presence, in contrast, creates an entirely different energy. When you bring your awareness fully into the current moment, the constant mental chatter eases. Breathing deepens, the body relaxes, and the mind becomes receptive rather than reactive. Presence is not passive. It is a conscious choice to engage with reality as it is without overlaying it with fear, judgment, or projection. In this state, solutions often appear naturally, effortlessly, and in ways that overthinking could never foresee. Life responds to awareness, not anxiety, and presence signals readiness rather than grasping. Being present allows you to notice what is truly happening rather than what you imagine. Should happen. You begin to distinguish between real options and imagined obstacles. Insights arise in clarity rather than in stress. Actions become precise and effective rather than reactive or hurried. Problems that once seemed complicated begin to reveal simple, practical solutions because the mind is no longer clouded by unnecessary complexity. Presence creates space for natural intelligence to operate, for intuition to speak, and for timing to align. Overthinking also weakens confidence. By constantly questioning decisions and anticipating failures, you erode trust in yourself and your judgment. Presence restores that trust. When you focus on what is before you, when you respond to the actual situation rather than a projected one, confidence grows. Each decision made with awareness reinforces the sense that you can handle life's challenges, that solutions are available, and that progress is possible without constant mental struggle. Presence does not mean ignoring responsibilities or avoiding planning. It does not mean being careless or passive. Instead, it is the practice of directing your attention where it matters most, on the here and now. Planning becomes purposeful rather than obsessive. Choices are informed rather than frantic. Action arises naturally rather than from fear. This shift transforms not only outcomes but also the quality of experience. Life feels lighter, more responsive, and more harmonious. The benefits of presence extend beyond problem solving. Relationships improve because you are fully attentive and engaged. Creativity flourishes because the mind is uncluttered. Energy that was previously wasted on worry and anticipation becomes available for meaningful action. Opportunities that seemed hidden in overthinking suddenly become clear because your awareness is aligned with reality rather than with imagined obstacles. Letting go of overthinking is a practice. Each time you notice your mind spiraling, gently return to the present moment. Focus on breath, sensations, or the immediate task at hand. Remind yourself that clarity does not come from exhaustive analysis, but from grounded attention. Over time, the habit of being present replaces the compulsion to overthink. You begin to trust life's timing, your own judgment, and the natural unfolding of events. Ultimately, overthinking delays outcomes because it keeps you locked in imagined problems rather than actual possibilities. Presence invites solutions because it aligns your mind, body, and energy with reality as it is. By cultivating awareness and letting go of unnecessary mental chatter, you create the conditions for clarity, insight, and effective action. Presence accelerates life, turning obstacles into opportunities and allowing solutions to appear effortlessly, naturally, and in perfect timing